And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.
I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
We get together, have a few laughs.
Welcome to Iowatalkguyspodcast. I'm your host, Teepee.
And I'm Erock.
I'm your host, Theo.
And welcome to this fine fall evening during this recording.
Yeah, it's starting to get chilly around here.
Mm-hmm. But it's the Midwest.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it, get out.
We don't have alligators.
Today we're gonna start off
Or hurricanes.
Yeah. Yeah. But we do have tornadoes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one little finger of an area, you know. Hopefully it doesn't get you, you know.
Yep. That's all you gotta do. That's why we got cellars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. We're going to start off today's episode with an article from The Atlantic by an Emily Oster.
Yeah.
She's, if I remember correctly, she's like a Brown University
I don't know.
professor or something.
All I saw was The Atlantic, and I saw the headline, and like, what's up?
Yeah,
that's all I'm thinking.
Can you read that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll read it. This is obviously like an opinion piece,
Yeah.
right?
All right.
But this Emily Oster, the title of this article is called "Let's Declare a Pandemic Amnesty. Let's focus on the future and fix the problems we still need to solve."
Oh, yeah.
October 31st, 2022. Okay. She starts off with this article of just crazy bizarreness.
Talking about cloth masks that she made at home, you know, for
Yeah.
for medical protection.
And her 4-year-old son yelling at a stranger. Social distancing.
Social distance.
I was in Colorado and I witnessed that on the trails in Estes Park.
Yeah.
Really?
They walked away from me like I was the plague with their mask on.
Maybe
outside.
this was her.
Yeah.
This could have been her, dude. Maybe you were the person her kid yelled at.
Oh, it was weird.
That's funny.
Is
What
she
small world.
Is she talking about Estes, being in Estes?
They were out hiking. I'm not sure where she lives.
Well, there are places other than Colorado to hike.
I know, but we're just, it'd be more fun if it was Erock that got yelled at by her 4-year-old.
I don't know. What is the altitude out there?
And Estes?
Yeah.
If I were to guess, I would imagine Estes is at like 8,000 feet.
You know better, man.
But
Can you imagine
feel it.
wearing a mask?
Oh,
oh,
God,
jeez, that
no.
would suck.
No.
Yeah.
Yet another reason, I mean, I understand the allure of Colorado. I mean, for Christ's sakes, it's gorgeous. And, I've spent quite a bit of time out there in my life. But, there's something about Iowa. Nobody's giving a shit about what we're doing here. I mean, we're like a bunch
and
of...
we're amazing.
Yeah, it's like nobody cares about us. We're never in the news. Unless honestly,
it's Slipknot.
And we can, yeah.
Give me a scream, Corey.
I don't like a fucking thing!
And we can afford to live.
Right.
We can afford to live.
This was at the height, so we're going in.
Yeah, so she said this happened in April 2020.
Huh.
When this happened.
Yeah.
And I can only
about May.
imagine what kind of circus her household had to have been if her 4-year-old's yelling this at strangers.
Yeah. I mean, well, we haven't talked about COVID too much on the show, I don't think, if we've really talked about it virtually at all.
We've touched on the subject because it's kind of a touchy subject, but it's getting less touchy now that more actual evidence is coming out about stuff.
Oh, I remember getting self-righteousnessed by an old lady.
Yeah?
That behaved like a 4-year-old at Lowe's.
Oh, wow.
So I know the feeling.
Yep, I got told to put it over my nose. And
yeah. Well, it wasn't.
Yeah. I have had airplane attendants say that to me. And I said, why? I'm seated next to a complete stranger anyway.
And when I flew out, the turbulence got crazy out once you get into Denver. And then I was hungover and a little drunk. And I needed that oxygen,
Imagine that.
Did you hit the button?
No, I put my hood over my head and took my mask off and hugged the window.
Yeah, you're right. But anyways, let's get back into this article.
Yeah.
Because we got a lot to say about this.
People want COVID amnesty here.
Right. She said these precautions were totally misguided. In April 2020, no one got the coronavirus from passing someone else hiking.
Right.
Outdoor transmission was vanishingly rare. Our cloth masks made out of old bandanas wouldn't have done anything anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, we didn't know.
Oh.
Well,
at the time you knew everything.
Well, no, they didn't. She didn't know. Some people knew. I mean...
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
There was enough...
some people knew that they were full of shit, too.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry. I'm bitter about this one here.
And it's okay. Hey, man, you're more than welcome to be here.
Shots fired.
Use this lighter.
No, I got it. Right. I got this stogan.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the crazy thing is, if she's saying, okay, we didn't know. Right. But what we did know is common sense shit, like when you're outside in the sun getting vitamin D, that's good for you. Your body likes that.
Well, it's kind of essential to life as a human being, frankly.
So I'm surprised she was out hiking around in 2020 when she should have been staying inside like the people, she was probably telling her colleagues and stuff to do. Right?
Yeah, seriously, you shouldn't be
remember
outside,
they
right?
shut down, like...
Stay home, save lives.
Yeah.
I remember in the, the sort of unofficial county seat of where we're from.
Okay.
Over there.
Mm-hmm.
That Charles Manson looking?
over in the town where you're from, Erock.
Yeah.
Evil over there where Erock's from.
Evil.
Inside joke, guys. Sorry.
Anyway,
they had the playground taped off, dude.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That happened all over the country.
They had the playground taped off, man.
They want your kids getting outside.
Remember,
and we also
they're filling the sand parks or the
skate parks down in
sand.
Down in Venice, California. And
crazy. Stuff. Then the other stuff, they shut down the gyms, which now we know, obviously, which we've always known that working out and getting your body strong and healthy is good for you.
Has a direct positive effect on your immune system.
Strange.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember
crap.
But, I agree with Emily here. We didn't know.
But Planet Fitness was one of the first ones to reopen. They didn't give a fuck. $10 a month?
Yeah. They probably would have gone under with that business model. Anyways, this Emily continues on with this article. She says, I've been reflecting on this lack of knowledge thanks to a class I'm co-teaching at Brown University on COVID.
Oh, well, you must be really smart, first of all, because you are co-teaching a class that an Ivy League institution.
She's somebody. She's got her name in the phone book and everything.
Real special, I bet.
Yeah. She's one of the experts that was telling us what to do the whole time.
But she didn't know.
Yeah. Anywho, she said, we've spent several lectures reliving the first year of the pandemic, discussing the many important choices we had to make under conditions of tremendous uncertainty. Mm-hmm. Well, I would certainly hope that students, or at least the lecturers, benefited from this several lectures, and it would at least be smart enough to not repeat the same mistakes and just follow the status quo without, using some critical thinking. But I doubt that will happen. She goes on to say, some of these choices turned out better than others. To take an example close to my own work, which of course she's got to toot her own horn, there is an emerging, if not universal, consensus that schools in the U.S. were closed for too long. The health risks of in-school spread were relatively low, which they knew early on.
It wasn't affecting kids.
Yeah. We knew that
other
early.
than kids that had comorbidities.
Yes.
We found this out very early on.
Yeah, that was found out in 2020.
People that were watching the science.
Not just Anthony Fauci.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's also another thing about this that pisses me off too is we have explained our what brought us to why we have the opinions that we are sharing with you on our podcast.
Right.
All right. So we were already, us three here, because we were guys, we didn't have a podcast back then. We can't verify, but we were talking amongst each other. Mm-hmm. Hey, guess what? Politicians are opportunists that are looking for something like this to grab massive amounts of power.
Yes.
And tell people what to do.
They've been doing it for years. It's the game they play.
Human nature. Sorry, Erock, I interrupted.
Never waste a good crisis.
Okay.
Never
let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah.
Rahm Emanuel, he was Obama's chief of staff, mayor of Chicago.
Oh, what was it?
All around piece of shit.
Fauci?
Yes. That guy's a real piece of shit.
Fauci? Wait, what?
Rahm Emanuel.
Yeah. Okay, well, when Fauci first came out, and he was saying we don't need to be wearing masks.
Yeah.
Remember?
Right away. Yes.
From the fucking get-go.
And then he was saying, we do need to. And then those emails were leaked that they were like, yeah, we know we don't need them, but we're going to tell people to do it anyway.
But no, hold on. Even prior to that. And how should I say this? Because, outside of the podcast in our personal lives and whatnot, we experience things and we observe things. And I don't want to go far into depth where I was when I was observing this and whatnot. But I observed people use the justification that, Fauci said that out of the time.
Yeah.
At the time, yeah.
Because in the context that there was a shortage. And he didn't want people out there in the public, to take the masks away from the first responders in the hospital. So Fauci is so smart and so benevolent that he could lie in this situation. They're justifying a bureaucrat's lie.
It was for the better good of the people.
Yeah. It was for the general welfare.
Right.
How are they going to TikTok?
TikTok what? What are you?
The healthcare workers.
Oh yeah,
making videos.
yeah. Or what was the other one?
Don't want to overwhelm them.
I lost COVID. I lost another COVID patient today, and they're like across the room from their cell phone, and they're
Well,
like in a damn underwear ad or some shit.
Through all that, and there's still nurses. They were hailed as heroes, which I would agree. There was a lot of them still on the front lines, and there were still that staff, the nursing staff and doctors that were still having to deliver babies and do all that stuff. There was still emergency.
You couldn't be in the room.
Fortunately, I was able to. I was one of the last ones where I could stay in the room with my wife before. Yeah, but I couldn't leave if I had left.
Had the boy.
Yeah. If I had left, I had a son in 2020. So if I had left the hospital, though, I wouldn't have been able to come back unless it was to pick up my wife and my new baby. So,
So you just stayed there?
Yeah, I just stayed there the whole time. But the really crazy thing about that is they were hailed as heroes, and then the very next year, all these nurses that were like, pump the brakes on the vax. I'm not quite sure about this because I'm a nurse and I've seen things. And then they were immediately demonized.
Certain one. I mean, there were cases.
There was
of
a bunch of nurses were fired. Remember this? Remember this happened. Nurses across the country were fired because they refused to take a vaccination.
Sure.
And then they're like, "Oh my God, we have a nursing staff shortage." So then what do? They pulled all their National Guard. They activated all the medical unit National Guardmen in the states to go fill that void. Which you know what all that did? Guess what? Those National Guardsmen, the National Guard soldiers, they were nursing or doctor staff in that part of the state and had to get pulled. So then that didn't really solve anything. That just all you did instead of having big holes, you just made a bunch of tiny holes.
Or like when they pulled in the fucking carrier fucking ships.
Oh yeah, in New York, and they were barely used. But you know what? We didn't know.
Knee-jerk reaction.
Go back to what Emily. Yeah, that was total. Go back to what you were saying. Sorry.
I'm just saying it was a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, I would agree. Absolutely.
But it was kind of nice staying at home.
I mean...
Oh, really? That must have been nice. I was an essential worker.
Yeah, well, I was too, but it was still... I mean,
the Great Reset of
Yeah, well,
getting fat and
but
taking
here-
out food.
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and getting
And we could take
more
out alcohol
unhealthy.
too. Remember that?
Yeah.
They-
And all those people up in Lansing were protesting,
Couldn't
and
go
they're
to a
like,
bar, but-
"We can't go outside and mow the lawn. We can't mow our grass, but we can sit inside and smoke it." Because they still had all the liquor store and the dispensaries.
that was
open.
essential. Yeah.
Yeah, that was up in Lansing.
Oh, Michigan?
I was actually up in Michigan when all that was going on for work, not in
for work?
Lansing, but yeah, and I think it was in Three Rivers. Anyway, but to finish this sentence here, that Miss Emily Ostra, Mrs. I should say, since she's
Oster?
Oster, yeah, thank you. She said the health risks of in-school spread were relatively low, which we knew, whereas the cost to students' well-being and educational progress were high. So let's face it, our education system has been going down in the dumps for years. This certainly didn't help.
Wasn't
become
gonna,
more of an.
It was going to kill the teachers, though.
Oh, that's what they were worried
was gonna
about, not the
spread, yeah,
children. Yeah. But
Yeah,
they already get
there's
summers
been
off.
several arguments. Yeah, the kids are always used as justification to get health measures passed because you don't want children to die.
yeah,
But it was obvious early on that kids weren't dying en masse
at all.
and
At all.
comorbidities were essential to go down.
Right. You had to have underlying ailments
Yeah.
in order to die from it.
Yeah.
So almost like the flu. So she said the latest figures on
No, not
learning
almost.
loss.
Not sorry to interrupt you. No, not almost like the flu.
There was no flu.
Have you ever had
Oh, yeah.
a bad flu?
And now it's back.
If
Yeah.
you don't take care of yourself,
You die.
That shit will take you out, dude.
I know.
Or pneumonia. I mean, people don't think about this stuff.
Well, in Erock, like he was saying, in 2020 there were no reported deaths of the flu.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Nobody
it's
fucking died.
Yeah.
Nobody died from the flu in 2020. Yeah.
Dude, yeah. I remember a bunch of people got butthurt at me because on one of the local news branches I put a picture of a doctor wearing a clown nose and it said, "We cured the flu."
Yeah. Yes. You got in a bunch of trouble for that, I bet, didn't you?
Yeah, I think they
Did you get
threatened to
banned?
suspend my account over it. I'm like, why? It was a joke.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was like ridiculous.
This is nuts. It was just
wild.
pure madness.
Lunacy.
Right. And you know what? Yeah, and she said the latest figures of learning loss are alarming, and our country was already being beat by other countries as far as learning.
As far as particularly the most important subjects,
yeah,
which are STEM
technology,
subjects, yeah,
on STEM, yeah, India,
science, technology, engineering, mathematics,
Yes.
we've been getting destroyed forever,
right?
That we got too many damn business degrees and law degrees and all this other shit, which is easy for me to say because I don't have a degree.
Well, I'll tell you right now from personal opinion, personal experience, that piece of paper that says I learned something did not really make me smarter than everybody else.
I mean, it's what you make of it. Everybody knows that, especially.
Hey, here's a headline. After 2-year lull due to COVID-19 masking and social distancing, health experts have issued a warning that the flu season is off to an early start and will be back with a vengeance.
Oh, shnikes.
So get your flu shot.
Yeah, and hey, guess what I heard on the radio too? Now, we're in luck, folks. The flu shot now has all of the COVID-19 variant shots in it as well.
Well, that's something that I have seen is that now the flu shots could be taking an mRNA form as well.
Yeah.
Which
we'll have to get into that later.
People don't understand. I'm not saying anything other than mRNA is brand new technology.
Yes.
Folks, you have to understand the reason that some people are apprehensive about getting that vaccine is because it's the first time anybody's ever done it and the trials weren't ran.
They never had, yes. I said this from the beginning to people and they thought I was some type of moron. Every single FDA-approved vaccination in America that's come out went through at least a 5 to 10 year clinical test trials, like tons of studies. They knew what your side effects were going to be.
Play the clip of the Pfizer lady.
Was the Pfizer COVID vaccine tested on stopping the transmission of the virus before it entered the market? If not, please say it clearly. If yes, are you willing to share the data with this committee? And I really want a straight answer, yes or no, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Regarding the question around, did we know about stopping humanisation before it's entered the market? No. We had to really move at the speed of science to really understand what is taking place in the market. And from that point of view, we had to do everything at risk.
Anyways, but here's one thing that gets me. That she said, in spring and summer 2020, we had only glimmers of information. And like Erock said, that yeah, on those glimmers of information, you guys were acting on a whim, on knee-jerk reactions, which is ridiculous.
About shut everything down?
Yeah, but she says here, reasonable people who cared about children and teachers, advocated on both sides of the reopening debate. Okay?
Okay. I'm sorry. Dr.
mean,
Fauci's getting on TV talking about how masks are so essential that we have to wear masks so long that human beings evolve or some shit.
There's a lot of confusion among people and misinformation surrounding face masks. Can you discuss that?
The masks are important for someone who's infected to prevent them from infecting someone else. Now, when you see people and look at the films in China and South Korea, whatever, everybody's wearing a mask. Right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. And often, there are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course. But when you think masks, you should think of healthcare providers needing them and people who are ill. The people who, when you look at the films of foreign countries and you see 85% of the people wearing masks, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not against it. If you want to do it, that's fine.
But it can lead to a shortage of masks.
Exactly. That's the point. It could lead to a shortage of masks for the people who really need it.
Well, I'm not making judgment, Andrew. The only thing I can do is repeat what I repeat maybe 20, 30 times a day, that in order to avoid the acquisition and transmission of this virus, which is highly transmissible, you should have uniform wearing of masks. You should have physical distancing. You should avoid crowds. You should try and do things outdoors much more than indoors. And you should frequently wash your hands. And to me, that goes for any situation, without exception.
And she's pulling this, well, we didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't
Bullshit.
know. It's
garbage.
It's italicized, so, it's very important. She says another example, when the vaccines came out, Operation Warp Speed, she didn't put that in there, it was my ad lib. We lacked definitive data on the relative efficiency of the Johnson & Johnson shot versus the mRNA options from Pfizer and Moderna.
Didn't stop you from telling people to get it.
Go get it,
would
yes.
Threaten, or you wanted to threaten everything.
Remember those articles the CDC put out about how to talk to your family about getting the shot? Yeah.
I remember a high-level executive, I can't remember his dang name, and I'm sorry about this, guys, but I remember a high-level executive from The Atlantic saying that you should pretty much be ostracized from society.
Yeah. I remember that.
If you don't get the vaccine.
Yep.
You don't function in society.
Yeah. Oh, there's tons of people out there advocating, well, if you don't get a shot, then you should be shipped off somewhere else.
Well, they want forgiveness now.
Yeah, now they want amnesty.
Well, I guess he's
Remember
not
they
asking
said
for
these things.
Hey, but did you remember when Dr. Fauci and his wife, the net worth grew by $5 million during the pandemic?
That's just another one of those things. Like, we could have told you at the beginning of it, us three. I'm not trying to.
We're no experts.
I know. I'm not trying to toot our horn here. I'm really not. But we
just stopped and evaluated the situation.
Hey, guess what? The past 2 years was one of the largest wealth transfers in the history of mankind.
Meanwhile, everybody else is going broke.
Yeah.
Having to rely on freaking the mortgage relief programs and dang on stimulus checks. Right?
Poking beans.
Dude, yeah. But they want amnesty.
Amnesty.
We didn't know. Sorry to keep bringing that up, but...
Fauci knew. Don't question him.
She said, obviously some people intended to mislead and made wildly irresponsible claims. She doesn't say any names.
What are you talking about? People that disagreed with you at the time?
I believe yeah. But remember when the public health community had to spend a lot of time and resources urging Americans not to inject themselves with bleach? No, I don't.
No.
Because that was a blip on the radar, and any critical thinking human being would say, I'm not doing that. And Erock...
Play the clip.
Erock, yeah, we'll play the clip.
Of Trump, what he actually said.
Yeah.
He never said anything about...
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me. You're going to have to use medical doctors. You're going to have to use medical doctors.
You're going to have to use medical doctors.
Right. But Erock, do me a favor. Look up the numbers of how many people died in the U.S. from injecting bleach. Because I want to see how much serious this was.
How much serious this was.
And remember the ivermectin?
Oh, yeah. Oh, somebody...
Yeah, the ER.
The horse dewormer.
Yeah. The ER was getting overwhelmed with...
And and there was in Oklahoma City in like the middle of July, and everybody was lined up in their winter coats. And that article ran, and they were like, the hospital was overwhelmed by ivermectin overdoses.
And they later retracted.
Yeah. I can't remember who what news outlet sent that out, but where's their punishment for misinformation spreading?
Rolling Stone has been forced to issue an update to their viral story about Oklahoma hospitals being overwhelmed by patients who overdosed on the drug ivermectin to fight COVID. This after the doctor they cited was contradicted by the hospitals he referenced. On Friday, the Liberal magazine published the claims made by Dr. Jason McElligay. He's quoted as saying, "The ERs are so backed up that even gunshot victims were having hard times getting to facilities where they can get definitive care and be treated." Now, the story originated at a local TV station, but was widely shared by media outlets and amplified by reporters, including MSNBC's Rachel Maddow, who shared it with her 10 million plus followers. The hospital put out a statement saying, quote, "Although Dr. Jason McElligay is not an employee of NHS Sequoia, he is affiliated with a medical staffing group that provides coverage for our emergency room." With that said, Dr. McElligay has not worked at our Sallisaw location in over 2 months. NHS Sequoia has not treated any patients due to complications related to taking ivermectin. This includes not treating any patients for ivermectin overdose.
Amnesty.
Yeah. But anyways, she said that was bad. Well, while Erock's looking that up, I'm going to finish this paragraph. Misinformation was and remains a huge problem. But most errors were made by people who were working in earnest for the good of society. Guess what? When we were telling people that we don't agree with what's going on in the mainstream with this narrative, I was working in earnest for the good of society because I didn't want my family and friends.
No, you didn't want your family. No,
yeah.
You were working in earnest for your own self-interest and the interest of that of your family and your friends.
I was being selfish.
And you're not a damn psychopath like these people are. So guess what that means is that it just so happened that your way of thinking was in the best interest of humanity.
Yeah.
Whoa, hey people, let's not just run off of a cliff because the herd is doing so right now. Let's get out of the way and think about this for a second.
Right. Instead, I was...
So your self-interest was actually...
I was being extremely selfish.
A little bit, yeah, it was better for humanity.
I was being extremely selfish because I wanted my friends and family to be safe.
Whereas everything that these people do that talk down to us, everything they do is for the general welfare of the people and the best interest of people.
For the commonwealth of
Yeah.
humankind.
Somebody that works at I don't know, an opinion piece in the Atlantic, I want to see the average daily life of somebody that gets opinion pieces published in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Have you ever? Could you imagine just strolling through New York, like living in I mean, even like middle class accommodations in New York, and like thinking that you live in the almost, I hate to, I'm not trying to, if we have, our listeners in New York and whatnot, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but you guys, New York is actually a very, very small place in the scope of the world. Yeah, I mean, gosh, it's like the size of the county that we're from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's got like 10 times the amount of people.
But these people live in a bubble, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, and you know what? That's in every society. We have people here living in high society that think, or I shouldn't say they live in a high society. They think they're living in a higher society.
But the people in Manhattan are the ones that have the platform that they're like godding down to the rest of us. You know what I mean? That's the point that I'm trying to make. Cuomo, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to him?
Which one? The one that was covering for the governor that killed tens of thousands of elderly people over COVID-19.
But
he already got amnesty.
He's sexually assaulted. Yeah.
Yeah. He got amnesty on killing tens of thousands of elderly people in nursing homes.
With the emails to back it up.
With absolutely horrible public health protocol.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Yep. And but the reason why he got kicked out was because of the sexual allegations.
Well, you're getting amnesty. What are you asking for it for?
No, he's getting out, dude.
What are these people asking for amnesty for?
Real quick, get back to Erock. Did you ever find those numbers on how many people killed themselves with injecting bleach?
Is this a serious question anyway? Damn it!
But they did pediatric poisoning fatalities doubled to 34 in 2019.
34 people.
And then it increased.
Pediatric poisoning. That doesn't have anything to do with bleach.
No. Well, this is what the article is about.
Well, it's pediatric, so that's probably children drinking bleach.
Oh. Yes. And then it increased 26% to 43 in 2020. And the CDC.
So nobody tried injecting themselves with bleach after Trump said that.
That's weird.
Okay.
So,
yet again, another made-up story.
No, Emily, I don't remember when the public health community had to spend a lot of time and resources urging Americans not to inject themselves with bleach.
Didn't hear about that. I was too busy out here living in the real world.
Here's an article. Did 4% of Americans really drink bleach last year?
I mean,
they're perfect. What'd they say? No. And Murray's lie detector test determined that's a lie.
My goodness.
So
the Center of hold on.
Yep.
In early 2020, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued a report on unsafe coronavirus prevention practices. According to the report, 4% of the 502 respondents stated that they had drank or gargled diluted bleach in the last month.
Were they trying to pass a urinalysis?
So they drank or breathalyzer?
The same about soapy water. 4% said household disinfectant. This quickly inspired a number of alarming headlines.
So, but nobody injected it though. It was all through. It was all through ingestion.
Everybody knows that the way you boot that stuff in is intravenously, though. That's the best way to do it.
Oh, yeah?
No, we have to disclaimer now. I have to disclaimer now that intravenous use of drugs without medical professionals is not recommended. It's not recommended by this show. Even though there are a tremendous amount of people out there with intravenous drug habits, and you need to stop.
Please. So, all right.
But so nobody injected bleach, okay?
Right. And the CDC had to make one report. I don't know how much that cost them, but I'm sure it was a lot less than the trillions of dollars we sent over to Ukraine.
Well, Dr. Fauci earned quite a bit of wealth over the past couple of years. Erock already specified.
Is IndiaTV.com a reputable source of news?
I don't know.
Because they say U.S. deaths due to poisoning rise after Trump endorses bleach disinfectant as COVID-19 treatment.
Maybe there was an overdose.
Maybe they the CDC never announced it, but
it increased
India
from 5% to 17%.
Whoa, that's way different than what we just read.
Well, this is maybe adults. There was some pediatric before.
Well,
either way,
maybe to try to get some listeners, one of us should try to inject some bleach and just see what happens.
Let's TikTok it. No thanks, I'm good, dude. Okay. Let's continue on with this article here. Given the amount of uncertainty, almost every position was taken on every topic. And on every topic, someone was eventually proved right, and someone else was proved wrong. In some instances, I like this, the right people were right for the wrong reasons. In other instances, they had a persistent understanding of the available information.
What are you talking about?
The right people were right for the wrong reasons.
What are you even talking about?
I don't know. I really wish you would have given some examples of that instead of the bleach example. Like, who was the right people being right for the wrong reason?
What do you mean?
Or when we said, oh, okay, was she referring to like when the Johnson & Johnson vaccine got recalled? And people were like, yeah, that's another reason why I'm waiting to see what happens. Was that because I was...
I don't know.
I was right for the wrong reason?
How can we even know the integrity of why the J&J was pulled? It's
a good question, too, because...
From one of the things I understand, I believe it's the J&J didn't actually have an mRNA blueprint. It was more of a traditional... like, I don't know what you want to call it, like a dead culture vaccine.
Probably like a SARS.
Where you have like the dead virus or whatever.
Are you a virologist?
No, I'm not a vet either, but I know what a fucking dog is. But
perfect.
But so they wanted to push. How do I say this? There was a new technology. And they wanted there were certain people that wanted as many people to take it as they could.
Which really makes you think, why, though? Why the big push? Moving on with this article here. She said, the people who got it right, for whatever reason, may want to gloat. And those who got it wrong, for whatever reason, may feel defensive and retrench into a position that doesn't accord with the facts. All of this gloating and defensiveness continues to gobble up a lot of social energy and to drive the cultural wars, especially on the internet. This is what you wanted. This is what your colleagues at Brown University wanted, Emily. What do you think was going to happen? Don't you have sociologists and psychologists that attend that university that you guys talk to? I mean, I'm just wondering. It's almost like, there was a lot of people warning about the dangers of what this was going to do psychologically to children as well and stuff. Not just them, but also people that had, issues. So the suicide rates.
Yeah, drug abuse rates.
Yeah. Outrageous.
Divorce rates.
Sexual abuse rates.
Yeah.
Domestic abuse rates.
Abuse.
I mean, this is terrible. To continue this paragraph, she said, these discussions are heated, unpleasant, and ultimately unproductive. In the face of so much uncertainty, getting something right had a hefty element of luck. Really? Just lucked out. Hefty element of luck. We should have been going to the casinos.
You got it wrong in the first place, and now you're completely dissecting how it happened accurately.
And diverting your, what's the word I'm looking for? Misguidedness? Your
hubris?
Yeah, as if it was our fault.
Yeah.
Like, we're the ones to blame because you got it wrong?
Yeah.
Because we're just lucky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because us simple folk can't think out here. That's what this. That's what these people think they are. They are the. This is what I was thinking earlier. These people think that they are the ones that are ordained or coronated or born to think for us.
They're better than us.
Yes, they are the thinking class. They know what's best for all of us.
Because we're too dumb to know how to do it on our own.
Yeah, and they don't know how a fucking internal combustion engine works.
Did you disinfect?
Yeah, they're going to tell us about how energy needs to be.
Yeah, they can tell
green.
us. Yeah.
Did you disinfect your groceries?
I mean,
right.
But that plastic, the plexiglass was gonna.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I wish I would have invested in a plexiglass.
Fucking plexiglass screwed into 2x4s is a biological barrier.
Yeah. Even though you couldn't hear anybody behind us, so everybody was always peeking around.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Handing your money through them too that I just touched. For all they know, I just wiped my ass and touched my money.
No, there was a coin shortage. Remember?
Yeah, that's because they shut down the mints.
And why when I go to a concert everything is cashless.
But
everything's
Why-
cashless everywhere, man. When you go to events like that.
But up until the pandemic, why did that open the door?
Yeah,
for a coin shortage.
It's interesting.
That's a good
It's like
point.
a bunch of World Economic Forum tests for their plans. This isn't even conspiracy theory, folks, right?
No.
It's just a conspiracy.
Yeah. But real quick,
don't question.
Just I want to say here, she freaking wraps this up by saying many people have neglected their health care over the past several years. Yeah, which guess what? That contributed to a lot of people dying from COVID.
Yeah.
Notably, routine vaccination rates for children are way down. Rather than debating the role that messaging about COVID vaccines had in this decline, we need to put all of our energy into bringing these rates back up. You evil piece of trash. You just got in early in this article. She discussed. Yeah, they knew that the rates for children getting getting COVID and dying from it were extremely low when there was no vaccine available. Then there was a vaccine available, and how many people vaccinated their kids? There was a lot of them, but a lot of
Barely
people
anybody
didn't.
has vaccinated their kids.
Yeah, and then the fact that there's the vaccination rates are down for children everywhere, and they're not dying by the droves, but yet she says we need to get those are rookie numbers. You need to bump those numbers up.
Yeah,
yeah. That's just why
it's just these echo chamber people, man.
That's sick.
Why was Joe Biden pushing for us all to get vaccinated? What was the number of employees if a company had?
Oh, it's like
Was it-
OSHA.
Huh.
OSHA.
Yeah, he was trying to get
had
OSHA
controls
involved.
like
Oh, yeah.
1,000. What over 1,000 employees? I don't know.
No, it was lower than that. It was like 200.
200 employees or more,
I
or
don't
something
know.
like that. Yeah. They had to have a vaccine mandate, right?
Yeah, why would he do that? That was this year.
Because they have all sorts of powerful interests.
And
man,
he knew that he
pulling at
couldn't
them.
do it.
It's obvious.
And that's hilarious.
Play
'cause
the
that's on-
clip.
Jesus.
That's
You got
hilarious.
a hard one here.
Yeah, you need to send these to us. But yeah. Anyways, and that's kind of on the heels of New York Supreme Court, coming to a decision that was improper for New York companies to do that.
Hey, I got a story. I wasn't able
Yeah.
to attend a wedding.
Oh yeah.
You already said that.
Did I?
Yeah, I believe you couldn't go to a wedding up in Chicago, right?
Oh yeah.
But
It's a good point to
it's
bring
relevant.
back up, though. Yeah. It's yeah. But anyway,
Because you didn't get the shot, actually, right?
I choose not to disclose that, even though my.
he was doing shots, just not at the wedding in Chicago.
So, but it's funny, my employer's system asks you the question.
Yeah.
Are you vaccinated? I do not. I decline to respond.
Yeah.
Now it says when I log in, did not get vaccinated.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I would have to look at that too.
I missed the wedding because they put in their invitation to please be vaccinated if you're going to come, and flat I'm not vaccinated.
Bye.
So I
These things happen.
I respected their wishes and sent a gift.
I went to a wedding where they didn't require anybody to have vaccinations or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just a small wedding.
It was
great.
probably a fucking badass time too.
It was a great
wasn't
time. It
Yeah.
was a beautiful wedding out in North Carolina.
Were you hung over the next day?
Yeah.
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 Like really bad?
Not super bad
Oh.
because I was drinking a bunch of water for the
Without a
anticipation of the
mask?
hangover.
Oh.
No mask. No.
Oh.
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah. So, anyways, wrapping this up, she continues with pediatricians and public health officials will need to work together on community outreach, and politicians will need to consider school mandates. Shut up. The standard saying is
Does
that
she have children?
Yeah,
Oh.
she does. Yeah, remember in the beginning, her 4-year-old yelled social distancing at Erock when he was out in Colorado.
We've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah. So the
She done
standard
talking yet?
The standard saying is that those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. But dwelling on the mistakes of history can lead to a repetitive doom loop as well.
Doom loop.
Really?
Doom loop.
That's pretty cool. That's my new band name.
Yeah.
Doom loop. I'm going to put him on repeat. Okay. A repetitive doom loop. Dwelling on the mistakes of history. has never created a doom loop. You know what has normally happened on when think tanks get together and people that actually have the best intentions for humanity?
Let me take a shot in the dark at this one.
Go.
There are enough ignorant people that can be convinced of their evil ideas that they are implemented, and bad things happen, like people die. And
is that what the doom loop means?
I'm just.
No, I was going. Usually, when people think about, like, okay, myself as an example, mistakes I made in the past, I don't want to repeat those, so I learn from them.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I dwell on a mistake, a really bad one that I had, guess what? If it still comes up, if I think about it, I'm like, man, that was dumb. I really don't want to make that stupid mistake again.
Yeah.
So I don't see how that can lead to a repetitive doom loop of people just talking trash.
So do you have any tattoos you regret?
No. Why?
If that was one of them that kept you up all night, like, oh man, I shouldn't have got that.
Man, totally. Well, no. But she wraps us up by saying, let's acknowledge that we made complicated choices in the face of deep uncertainty, and then try to work together to build back and move forward.
You weren't trying to work together, lady.
At all.
Hey,
you were trying to tell us what to do.
Yeah, your way or the highway.
These people at the Atlantic and CNBC and MSNBC and yada, yada, yada.
Build back better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Gates. They're trying to tell us exactly what to do.
And
the problem was, in fact, they were saying at the time, the problem is that people, Anthony Fauci was saying, people have too much freedom.
Yeah.
It's a problem. When the public health bureaucrats are telling them to do things, they need to do it. You know?
Sounds
That's
like
a probably horrible
sounds
New
like
York
that.
accent.
Sounds like a mobster.
Yeah, it's like probably some asshole from Iowa trying to do a New York accent.
It just makes common sense.
Science. Yeah. Anyways, but I that blows my mind that she says this crap, and she, although in the article she already acknowledged that there was no need for children to be.
Well, that was everything.
She didn't say vaccinated. She said the children were not affected. The death rates were low. The infection rate was low.
Right.
But then at the end, she says, "Well, even though the rates of vaccination are down, which she didn't bother to put any correlation in between there, no. You know, but she says we need to get those backs up. That to me is that's I think also vaccines personally are that's a profiteer.
Well, you remember we were trying to kill our children for putting them back in school.
Oh yeah,
do you remember that?
Yes, good point. We had
not only that, but we wanted to kill teachers too.
Right. There was people freaking out saying, "Yeah, you want to send your kids back to school? How dare you? What are you, some evil?"
Around here, it wasn't so bad, but these folks, out on the east and west coast and shit,
it was getting crazy. They're
up Chicago,
and then they want to. Oh yeah. So here's the other thing. So who was spreading misinformation at that time? Then that's my big question.
Joe Rogan.
Who were the ones spreading the misinformation?
Who is defining the person that was wrong at the beginning? I'm guessing for all intents and purposes of this article, that's what they mean.
And can we also rewind? Remember, Trump was one of them that was pushing this safe and effective vaccine.
Yeah, Operation Warp Speed.
And then,
what a dumbass.
And a bunch of people at the beginning were like, I'm not taking his vaccine.
Yeah,
Kamala Harris.
You know what? I was saying that at the same fucking time, too.
What the fuck?
And it wasn't.
Yeah, I was like, I agree with you.
Yep.
I agree with you, Whoopi.
So why didn't the Democrats
no shit.
run with that
dumbass?
Why didn't they put it on him?
Right. Because it was their side now. It was their political party that was pushing it, so obviously it was good for them because they weren't evil like the Orange Man. Right?
I'm not taking his vaccine and then tried to mandate it via OSHA.
That's why I'm not getting vaccinated, because Trump.
Yep.
Yeah. You know
Good
what?
point.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that.
Actually, it's because I don't like needles.
And Trump is literally Hitler.
Yes. Reincarnate.
Yeah.
That's why I have no tattoos.
I think that's going to wrap it up for us, folks. But that was a pretty enlightening conversation, I think. Good place to.
Yeah, we didn't read the full article. Go read it for yourself.
You went through quite a bit of it, though.
We did go because there was a lot of just craziness in there, and like it blows my mind. They were so vile to people. There's videos all over the internet, out in public.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw some of this stuff. I was like, dude, I would be embarrassed if I was with somebody that was yelling at somebody like that to put their mask on like that.
Yeah, hey, I was a hard time. It was tough to get me to wear a mask, and I'm not saying I didn't wear one, but
yeah, it was.
I didn't wear one unless I had to get something done.
Usually, well, I just thought it was stupid. Plus, it was hard to breathe. You know, Erock even put that on. You know. And you're breathing in your own carbon monoxide emission, which they've proven that's not good for you
unless
either.
it's negative 40 outside.
You're right. I don't need a face mask.
You don't need to be wearing a face mask.
Yeah.
You know?
But, I don't know.
Or unless there's mustard gas being used. Or
a face mask's not going to help. You're going to die.
Or a little nugget here. Or unless topping is being used, which was the name of a German development in the 20th century.
I did not know that.
It would attack the nervous system, the smallest amounts. Little nugget of something that we have coming.
Did you see the
Tobin?
Did you see the meme where it was like, no, it should be COVID. We need COVID tribunals.
What?
Amnesty.
COVID tribunals. Nuremberg tribunals on COVID. But all right, yeah. What a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah. Well,
give us the old like, subscribe.
Share with your friends. You guys want to reach out to us, drop us in line.
Share orally.
Por favor.
Share us orally.
Yeah, that's really so far has been working out good for us. And all the new listeners that we have now that we've been getting, thank you so much for coming and joining us.
Word of mouth.
Still the best way to get
that's really, honestly, all we... Just genuine followers is all we really care about. We are not making any money or anything.
But we want to get this information out.
Yeah.
And this is misinformation.
Yes. And hey, we have it in the description.
Don't believe.
What are you, a fact checker?
What are you, an ultra mega?
That's what he was doing in 2020. That's why we didn't have the podcast. Erock was working for Facebook.
He's working in San Francisco.
I just got fired.
Had a studio for $1,500 a month.
He was going to go to Meta, but a bunch of his friends just got laid off from there too.
All right.
Well, hey, thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a great night. This is the Iowa Talk Guys signing off.
Out.
Off.